It's one of the most hotly anticipated cars of this year, the all-new 2020 Toyota GR Supra. Now, if you're a kid of the 80s or 90s, the Supra is an icon, and I'm so glad that it's back. But in order to bring it back, Toyota had to make some tough decisions, and as a result, this car is not without controversy. We're here at the Palmer Motorsports Park in central Massachusetts to ring out the new Supra and determine if that controversy is warranted. So stick around as we get to know the all-new Supra. This should be a fun one. It's been 22 years since you could buy a Supra in the States. If it were to start from scratch, Toyota said it would have cost $1 billion to bring it back. Sports cars usually don't rake in $1 billion for automakers, so naturally, Toyota went looking for some help, and it got some from BMW. That help becomes pretty apparent when you step inside. But the Supra's exterior is all Toyota, and it's pretty honest to the FT1 concept from 2014. People absolutely love this car. In the week we've had it, I've gotten stopped at parking lots, honked out on the road. People are excited. Now get behind the wheel and you'll start to see what the controversy is about. Take a gander at this car's interior and then head over to our review on the 2020 BMW Z4. Things might look a little familiar, but that's because this car is based on a BMW Z4 chassis and it also uses a BMW engine. Now there are two trims of the Supra, base and the premium that we're driving. Toyota is also building 1,500 Launch Edition Supras. Now the Launch Edition is pretty much a premium trim with some extra visual tweaks. As for the base model, it comes standard with 19-inch wheels, Michelin high-performance tires, LED head and tail lights, a fully digital instrument panel, and a 6.5-inch touchscreen infotainment system that's basically BMW's iDrive. Moving to the premium adds a JBL sound system, wireless phone charging, and Apple CarPlay. And this is an area where it pays for this car to be a BMW on the inside, because that means it gets wireless CarPlay. No futzing with cables. You can leave your phone in your pocket or your bag if you want. But here's the thing. BMW charges $80 a year for Apple CarPlay, which is borderline criminal. And yet Toyota will make the service free for the first 4 years, but after that you gotta pay up. And that's pretty brutal for a service that comes free of charge in many new cars. Now I know at this point you think I have an axe to grind with this car, but we haven't even started talking about the driving yet. And luckily, we're in the right place to talk about driving. Palmer Motorsports Park has 14 turns covering more than 500 feet in elevation change. And when you're behind the wheel of a rear-wheel drive sports coupe, it's the perfect proving ground. Under the hood is an inline 6-cylinder engine with a twin-scroll turbo. It makes 335 horsepower and 365 pound-feet of torque. But some early dyno testing on the web has shown those numbers actually might be understated. Frankly, that wouldn't be uncommon for a BMW engine. Still, Toyota's choice to run a 6 instead of a bigger V8 will save you money on gas. To be specific, the Supra is rated at 24 mpg city, 31 highway, 26 combined. But be ready for that number to drop quite a bit when you're on the track. Power is sent to the rear wheels through an 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters and a sport mode. I know, many of you are disappointed that this car doesn't have a manual, and I know I was. Frankly, with the twists and turns and rises and dips of this track, I actually appreciate the auto. It might not be as engaging as a manual, but it lets you appreciate the cornering and the braking. And you can use the paddle shifters as you brake, although Sport Mode does a great job downshifting before you enter the turn, and it makes an incredible snap and crackle when you do. Powering through the corners on this track, one thing I've noticed is how far back the driver sits, almost over the rear wheels. The steering is incredibly direct, but there's just a bit more body roll than expected. I honestly thought this would be steady like a rock through turns, but there's a bit of play. I think my favorite thing about the Supra is that it's not some 700 horsepower Super Coupe. And I personally think that anything over 500 horsepower is overkill, and my ideal performance car is closer to 300 horsepower and a focus on cornering agility. When you get those things right, it's pure driving joy. All the criticisms I may have about the BMW part sharing and the CarPlay nickel and diming, they just don't matter when you're completely and entirely consumed with mastering each turn. The Supra comes well equipped on the safety front, including forward collision warning, lane departure warning, pedestrian detection, and rain sensing wipers. That's pretty good for a sports car, especially when you consider the Supra's base MSRP of $49,990. That's kind of a steal. A premium trim Supra starts at $53,990, and our test model added the driver assist package, which includes dynamic cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert. That, plus floor mats and $955 destination fee, and our test model came in at $56,220. The premium launch edition starts at $55,250, and I expect most of them to carry a pretty steep markup. I'm glad this car exists. I really am. The world's a better place with more sports car options in it. And Toyota was wise to team up with another automaker to keep its costs down and in turn the cost of the car. But by relying a little too heavily on BMW for the interior, it left itself open to the exact kind of criticism it was hoping to avoid. Thankfully, the drive is so good, it'll almost make you overlook this car's shortcomings. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see more videos, like our review on the 2020 BMW Z4. If you think the BMW DNA is an issue for a car that's so important to Toyota, let us know in the comments. And to read my full review on the 2020 Toyota GR Supra, go to CarGurus.com. All right, that's a wrap. Going for another lap.